their thinking in those days. So they had a chance to really elevate Marvel like it is now and make it big in television and movies, and they didn't. And things went bad. But when new management took over, they wanted to do movies. And that's what really made the difference. And the Marvel movies were just great. And did I answer the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I talk so much I forget what it is I'm supposed to be answering.
This time we're over here.
Hi Stan. This is an honor. My question is, you've had more creative control of your characters for a long time, like the classics, Spider-Man, X-Men. But thinking from when you created them up to now, who or what characters are you the most proud of, or most happy with how they've been over the years?
What characters am I most proud and happy with, the way they've worked out over the years?
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I don't have time to read the comics these days, so I don't even know how they are. I know it sounds terrible. I do not have time to read the books. I have an assistant that they send us all the books, and he'll occasionally show me one if it's a new title that I haven't seen before, and I look at the cover and flip through the pages and say, gee, that looks nice, and put it aside, because I'm really so busy doing my other work. So I don't know which are the best ones now. In fact, one terrible thing, it's terrible to me, that has happened. Obviously, I used to know everybody in the business. We were all friends and we were close. Now, I look at a cover of a Marvel magazine and there are names of the artists and the writers. I don't know who these people are. I know a couple of writers if they're from way back, but all of these new artists who are so good, because I flip through the pages and the artwork is beautiful, but I don't even know them. And I really regret that very much, but I don't have time for it.
Well, I think that question could also relate to his earlier response that his favorite of the movies is Spider-Man, X-Men, and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because as a creator, it's almost like the characters you create are in a way are like your children. You want your children to grow up and be successful, and so whatever they do be a success. Well, Spider-Man and Iron Man and the X-Men couldn't hardly be a better success, so I would think that that could relate to an answer for you.
Hey, thank you.
They have one over here.
Okay, cool. Okay, first, thank you for coming here. It's a privilege that you're talking here at the DragonCon today, but do you have an inspiration for that, from making all the people from X-Men to Iron Man, or do you just think of it?
Okay, he's asking about, do you have a general source of inspiration when it came to creating characters, or does it vary from character to character? Source of inspiration.
I don't know that I can call it inspiration. I'm really a hack writer. I don't get inspirations. I mean that seriously. I don't even like to write that much. So I only write when there's something I have to write. Over the years in Marvel, when my publisher said we need a new character, I went home and I did a new character. If he didn't say he needed a new character, I would never have done one. And when I had to do additional stories, I wrote them. I'm not the kind of guy that walks down the street and suddenly, wow, I just had a great idea for something. But if I know I have to write something, I go home and I sit down and I say, okay, I have to write something. Now, what hasn't already been written? Oh, there's something, and I write it down. I really have to sit and think. So the word inspiration, I wish I had inspirations, but I really don't. To me, writing is just a matter of sitting down, thinking, scribbling a few things, saying that looks good, or no, it doesn't look good, I'll change it. Until finally I get something that looks good to me. Sorry to make it sound unglamorous.
Thank you for that question. But genuine talent can come into play. I think there may have been a little talent involved. I had made a brief mention earlier, following the history of Marvel from like the pulps to the 40s, timely into Atlas in the 50s, and I made a very brief mention that Atlas and all of comics was not doing well in the late 50s. Partially the result of McCarthy-era politics, partially the result that America didn't seem to need heroes as much after World War II. And in that period where you were thinking about leaving comics and going into another area, I also think of other people I know that were working in that time. A lot of artists went into advertising. I know Joe Orlando told me when he would meet people and they asked him what he did, he would not say he was a comic book artist. He would say he illustrated children's books. And I've heard you also mention you would be at a party and you would say something along that line. But coming from there into the growth through the 60s and 70s, really amazing creative period there that Marvel is still being enriched from, as well as all the fans to this day based on that creative work. And at this point, to have all these great movies done, I don't know what you could say about that, but if you have anything you could say. I mean, back then, when you were thinking about leaving comics, aren't you glad you stayed?
I guess, well, I don't know. If I had left comics, I might have gotten into politics and I'd be the president. You never know if you make the right decision. But, no, what David said is true. Years ago, it was embarrassing to tell anybody that you worked in the comic book business because nobody had any respect for that. The comics were like the lowest rung of the cultural totem pole. I'd go to a party and somebody would say to me, "What is it you do?" "Oh," I figured, "I'm a writer," and I'd start to walk away. But they'd follow me. "What do you write?" And I'd say, "Oh, magazine stories," and I'd try to walk a little faster, but they'd run after me. "What kind of stories?" "For children." And they'd keep asking, and finally I had to say comic books. And they would turn around and walk away, and I never saw them again. But today, I'll be at a party, somebody will see me, recognize me, and will say, "Excuse me a minute, President Obama, I think that's Dan Lee over there." So comics have changed a little bit.
I think we're about out of time. I just want to thank Stan for coming out to DragonCon.